Hi everyone, welcome back to Dobby Books. It's good to see you all again. And today is a little bit of a mix. I've got an unboxing to do. I've added to a collection from Bradbury, and I'm just going to go over a couple of the books that I'm reading for the semester. I'm only going to go through the ones that I'm reading right now. And then maybe if I have a chance, I'll cover some readings that I've recently finished, whether it's an audiobook or an ebook or whatever format. So let's get started. So right now, what I want to start with is the unboxing. And I got this off eBay, and it was an edition of Ray Bradbury's book called The Halloween Tree. I've never read it. I'm assuming I know what it's about with the title, like The Halloween Tree, but it's the cover that got me. It's just awesome. It really drew me, and I said, okay, I love the cover. I suspect I'm going to like the book. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open it up. And I purchased this off eBay from Barrel Room Rare Books, and they're located in Plain City, Ohio. This arrived a couple days ago, but I didn't want to open it until I had you all with me. So far, so good on the boxing. So it had this nice little thingy. It's covered. Oh, look, it's taped to the actual inside of the box to hold it steady. Good. That gave it some protection. And it's wrapped in a plastic cover, an opaque plastic cover. And I want to be really careful I don't cut the book. So let's do this. All right, so box is gone. Here's the book. And let's see this cover. I really want to see this cover live and in person. So I think this may have been the original hard copy edition, but look at this cover. I loved it because it looks like a tree. If you stand far enough away, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. If you stand far enough away from the image, you see a tree. But then when you get a little bit closer, you see a skull. Oh, I loved it. I just loved it. I couldn't resist just for the cover alone. And look at the detail within that. Single images that you see. I know there's a term for this kind of art when you have pieces within a larger piece of artwork, and how the image, as you pull away from it, can look like something else entirely. I just think that's phenomenal. For the book alone, just for the cover alone, I love the book. And this one is signed by Ray Bradbury. The book itself looks like it's in very good condition. Look at this. Looks very good. The spine looks tight enough. The pages there's the Ray Bradbury signature with the date. And the book itself, I'm going to guess maybe it's like a, I don't know, I want to say middle grade, but maybe it's not middle grade. And what gets me is that, if I'm not mistaken, I could be thinking of a different book, but there are drawings. I don't know who did the drawings. I'm going to find out. But there were drawings, black and white drawings like this, which I also liked. Let's see who the illustrator is. So, illustrated by Joseph Mugnani. I'll let you decide what that says. That's the illustrator, and here's the first image. And I think those are cool images. Everything about the book I really liked. And then, of course, here's the cover. It's not a huge illustrated one, but it's in good enough condition. I'm going to soon have this covered in broad art to preserve it as best I can. I'm happy with this purchase. The book is in very good condition. There are no highlights or annotations of any kind. That's good. So that I'm going to add to what I already have. Where did I put it? I don't know where I put it, but I also have Ray Bradbury's, where did I put it? Oh my gosh. Here they are, hold on. I have another book by Ray Bradbury, which is Something Wicked This Way Comes, and this was the regular book I ended up getting. I have a folio edition book as well, and then I also have the graphic novel. I forgot what it was. So little by little, I'm adding to my Ray Bradbury collection. I also have Fahrenheit 451 and another one, and I can't see the title from here because my eyeballs aren't that good. All right, so let me cover what I'm reading now for the semester. So I have English and European history. I also have major European English and European authors. And when I'm reading for major European authors, we're covering Shakespeare, lucky me. So Romeo and Juliet, I'm familiar with the story, but what's really neat is when you take a class on Shakespeare, you're not only learning about Shakespeare when he was born, his background, etc., but you learn to more closely read and analyze his writing. So it's not Old English, it's not Middle English, it's early modern English, that's it. And we're learning things like stanchions and the meters and the difference between, how Shakespeare writes a combination of prose and verse, and we're learning the importance of that and how you'll see a difference come in between two different sentences and to pay attention to that, and there's a reason for that, and that is exactly why I love taking my English courses, because I really want to learn and better appreciate what I'm going to read now and in the future. And what we're reading for major British and European authors, no. So one of these is for, hold on. Shakespeare's plays. So Romeo and Juliet is for my class entitled Shakespeare's Plays. The other book I'm reading I'm reading 3 books by Jane Austen, and Pride and Prejudice being the first one we're reading now. This is going to be my 3rd or 4th read through Jane Austen, through Pride and Prejudice. Each time you read it, of course, there's more to discover. And this is for my major British and European authors class. I have finished volume 2, and I'm happy. I'm happy this semester because I get to read things that I'm enjoying. I'm thoroughly enjoying Pride and Prejudice, and I'm really loving what I'm learning about Shakespeare's plays through Romeo and Juliet. I'm also taking literary theory. Now, we haven't started with this book yet. We're doing isolated readings. We did Aristotle. We actually covered Marx, which is interesting. Who would have thought? And also, I also purchased, not because it was required, but because I wanted it to better understand things, I got the Cambridge Introduction to Jane Austen, which I would recommend because it goes through every book. It talks a little bit about every book, gives it some context, as well as comparing characters from one of Jane Austen's, let's say from Pride and Prejudice, to a character in Sanditon or Persuasion, which is really neat because then I, as the reader, am thinking, now I want to read those other books. So this I would recommend if anybody who wants to read Jane Austen. It'll give you a deeper understanding, I think a deeper appreciation of her books. And finally, what am I reading? Watership Down. This book was originally published in 1972, a long time ago. And I remember walking into a movie theater. I don't remember where I was, who I was with. I just know that they were showing this movie, Watership Down, which was a cartoon. And I realized that it was not a little kid's cartoon. It had some grown-up themes in it. So I wouldn't recommend you take children to it. I didn't watch the whole movie. I ended up walking out of the movie. But this name, Watership Down, has been stuck in the back of my mind for years. Later on, I find out it's actually a book. And then I tell myself, one day I'm going to read it. And I was at a book sale, not too far away from where I lived, at a library. I love going to the library book sales. And I found the book. And guess what? I bought it. And I'm reading it. I'm more than halfway through with the book. It's a wonderful story. And if I could tell you briefly, I think they call their dens, the group of dens that they live in as a unit, an aula. I could be wrong. Well, there's a falling out. Conditions aren't very good at their original one, and a small group of rabbits decide to leave, and they have to do this secretly. Otherwise, the goons that follow that do the orders of the leader will try to stop them. And the leader of this group that's trying to get away, his little brother is a sensitive. He has dreams that tell him what's going to happen in the future, and he has these anxieties because he senses danger or whatever. And he's always been right. So his older brother, the new leader, decides to take his brother's advice, and they leave. And it's in a very quick, we're leaving now, are you coming type of thing. And in the book, you read their adventures as they make their way to a new aula that they can make for themselves, where they're going to make better living conditions. I'm at the point now where they have found their new place to live, and now they're having new adventures because they have to find does. They have to find female rabbits so they can continue on. They really don't have any. So the adventures with that. I stopped at a really suspenseful part where some of the group have decided to go to a specific aula that they know of. It's very well guarded and it's very well organized, and they're going to try to take some of the does. They know some of the does want to leave because the life in that particular aula is very controlled. And people are, the residents or the other rabbits there are not very happy. So cliffhanger, I can't wait to get to it. But with my reading and for the semester, it's been harder to get to it. Also, I'm listening to an audiobook. Actually, I have two audio. One is from the Great Books. From the Great Courses, which I get through Audible. And it's on literary theory. It's a more traditional approach to literary theory. The name escapes me right now. I will post it on the screen. It's very good. And I'm liking it so far, and it's helping me to understand my literary theory class, which I know is only going to get more complicated as the semester wears on. And I'm listening to an audiobook of it may be a banned book. I think it's in one of the lists of the banned books. Very controversial. And like I learned a long time ago, when there's a banned book, ask yourself why. Why is it banned? If you can't get a good reason or whatever the heck it may be, read it for yourself. See what all the hubbub is about. Something I did years ago, way back when the Harry Potter series came out and I had young children. And I eventually decided, let me read this for myself and see what everybody's fighting about. And I, in the end, decided, okay, this book is fine. This series is fine. My children have yet to read it because they prefer to watch the movies. Anyway, but I love the Harry Potter series. So I've continued on with that tradition, and this time I chose the book, The 1619 Project. And I'm going to make up my own mind. And basically, instead of starting American history at 1776, it's focusing on 1619. They tell you why, they give you context. I'm still reading it. I'm not done. I'm going to give more feedback on it once I'm done. But I'm glad I'm reading it. And I know whether I like the book or not, or agree on it or not, in the end, I'll learn something from it. And that's what's important. So that's it, everybody. I'm going to get back to what I need to get doing for studies. And it was so nice to talk to all of you. I love you all a whole bunch. And have a great month of September. Bye, everyone.